Here's something that affects every working Singaporean, and most people missed it in the Budget 2026 headlines. Starting July 2026, the retirement age goes up to 65. Reemployment age goes to 70. That's 2 more years that the system now expects you to work before you can step away. But here's what nobody is talking about. Buried inside Budget 2026 are 3 CPF changes that, if you act on them, can turn those 2 extra years into significantly more retirement wealth than the generation before you ever had access to. Let me show you exactly what changed, who benefits, and what you need to do before the deadlines hit. Let's be precise about what happened. Retirement age was 63, now 65. This means your employer is legally required to keep you employed until 65 if you want to stay. You cannot be forced out earlier. Reemployment age was 68, now 70. Companies must offer to rehire you up to age 70. Now here's the number that matters. The average Singaporean lives to 84. CPF life payouts start at 65. That's a 19-year gap between when the money starts and when it needs to last until. The system was not designed for an 84-year lifespan. The government knows this. That's exactly why Budget 2026 made the changes it did, and why understanding those changes is worth more than any headline about the retirement age increase. Before we get to the good news in Budget 2026, you need to understand something that most people are not tracking. The CPF special account, the one earning 4% interest with flexibility, was closed at age 55. Your SA balance moved into the retirement account instead. Less flexibility, same contributions. So here's the trap. 2 more years of mandatory employment means 2 more years of CPF contributions. But those contributions are going into a retirement account you cannot touch until 65. The money is accumulating. You just can't access it. This is not necessarily bad, but it changes how you need to think about your cash flow between 55 and 65, because your CPF is locked while your expenses are not. The people who understand this structure plan differently. They keep investable assets outside of CPF for that decade window. They don't rely on CPF as their only retirement vehicle. Now here's what Budget 2026 actually gives you. The first change, a one-off CPF top-up of up to $1,500 credited to your retirement account or special account in December 2026. Who qualifies? Singaporeans aged 50 and above in 2026. That's anyone born in 1976 or earlier. The amount depends on 2 factors. Your CPF retirement savings as of December 31st, 2025, and the annual value of your property. If your CPF retirement savings are below $60,000 and your property AV is under $21,000, which covers almost all HDB flat owners, you get the full $1,500. If your savings are between $60,000 and $110,200, you get $1,000. This is automatic. No application. You will be notified in December 2026, and the money appears in your account. The deadline that matters. Your CPF retirement savings figure is locked in based on your balance at December 31st, 2025. That's already passed, but if you're planning for future years, this is the kind of threshold awareness that changes your decisions. The second change takes effect in January 2027, and it directly affects anyone currently aged 55 to 65. CPF contribution rates for senior workers are increasing. For employees aged 55 to 60, total contributions go up by 1.5 percentage points. For employees aged 60 to 65, up by 1 percentage point. Both employee and employer rates increase. Employers get a CPF transition offset worth half of their increased contribution to cushion the business cost. Here's why this matters in practical terms. If you're earning $5,000 a month at age 58, the 1.5 percentage point increase means roughly an extra $75 per month going into your retirement account. Over 2 years to age 60, that's $1,800 before interest. It doesn't sound large, but this contribution goes into your retirement account, up to the full retirement sum. For anyone not yet at the LRIS, this is compounding at CPF interest rates automatically, every month, without any decision required from you. The people who benefit most are those who are still employed, actively contributing, and have not yet hit their full retirement sum. 2 more mandatory working years at higher contribution rates is a meaningful difference over time. This is the one worth paying the most attention to. The Lifetime Retirement Investment Scheme, LRIS, launches in the first half of 2028. This is a new CPF investment option, and it is fundamentally different from the existing CPF investment scheme. The existing CPFIS requires you to choose your own investments. Many Singaporeans find it complex, expensive, or simply do not engage with it. The result is that CPF money sits in the ordinary account earning 2.5% instead of being invested for potentially higher long-term returns. The LRIS changes this. 2 to 3 government-selected product providers will offer a small number of life cycle investment products. These are age-based funds that automatically rebalance. More growth assets when you're younger, shifting to more stable assets as you approach retirement. You pick a product, and the rebalancing happens automatically. Participation is voluntary. But for anyone who has CPF savings sitting in their ordinary account and does not want to actively manage investments, this is the most accessible growth option CPF has ever offered. The key question to ask yourself now: when LRIS launches in 2028, will you be ready to participate? Do you understand how much of your CPF ordinary account is uninvested and potentially eligible? Let's talk about the number that determines your CPF life payout, the full retirement sum. For 2026, the basic retirement sum is $106,500. The full retirement sum is $213,000. The enhanced retirement sum is $319,500. The difference in monthly CPF life payouts between these three levels is significant. Basic gives you roughly $900 to $1,000 per month starting at 65. Full gives you roughly $1,500 to $1,700. Enhanced gives you roughly $2,100 to $2,400. Over a 19-year retirement from 65 to 84, the difference between basic and enhanced is over $300,000 in total lifetime payouts. Most Singaporeans are not at the full retirement sum. The 2 extra working years and the higher contribution rates from 2027 are steps in the right direction. But they are not sufficient alone for most people. The gap needs to be filled with intentional cash top-ups to your retirement account before 65, investment returns from LRIS or CPFIS, and income from sources outside CPF. This is why the mindset shift matters. The retirement age increase is not the end of your story. It is 2 more years to close the gap. Let's make this concrete. 3 actions based specifically on what changed in Budget 2026. Action 1. Check your CPF retirement savings balance today. Log into the CPF app or website and find your retirement account or special account balance. If you're 50 or above and below $110,200, your $1,500 top-up in December 2026 is essentially confirmed. Know your number. Action 2. If you're between 55 and 65 and still employed, note January 2027 in your calendar. Your contribution rates are increasing. Make sure your employer is aware and that the higher contributions are being correctly credited to your retirement account. Check your CPF statement in February 2027 to verify. Action 3. Research the LRIS before it launches in 2028. When the product providers are announced, likely late 2027, you want to understand your options, not scramble to decide. The people who engage early with life cycle investing always outperform those who decide under time pressure. One additional note: if you have CPF ordinary account savings sitting uninvested, consider whether the existing CPFIS already has suitable options for your risk profile. The LRIS is coming, but 2028 is still 2 years away. Every month uninvested in OA earns 2.5% instead of potentially more. Here is the real takeaway from everything Budget 2026 changed. Singaporeans are living longer. The government is extending working ages because the math requires it. More contributions, more years of compounding, smaller gap between what you saved and what you need. The people who treat the retirement age increase as something happening to them will arrive at 65 unprepared. The people who treat it as 2 more years of runway, 2 more years of CPF contributions at higher rates, 2 more years of investment growth, 2 more years to close the gap to the enhanced retirement sum, will retire with fundamentally more than the system ever expected to deliver. The $1,500 top-up in December 2026. The contribution rate increase in January 2027. The LRIS in 2028. 3 tools. Most people will ignore all 3. You don't have to. If this gave you a clearer picture of your CPF options, subscribe for weekly analysis on exactly these kinds of changes. And drop a comment below. Are you planning to rely on CPF Life as your main retirement income? Or do you have other strategies in place? I want to know where you stand. This is Premium Logic Lab. See you next week.